The cabin lights dimmed as Flight 247 cruised above the clouds. Passengers settled in with headphones, snacks, and soft conversations. But in row 10, a man sat quietly, his head leaning against the window, a cap pulled low to shade his tired eyes. His name was Daniel Cole, a single dad, janitor at Lincoln High, and a man who had once flown through storms fiercer than the one rumbling outside the aircraft that night. Next to him sat his 8-year-old daughter, Emma, her small hand resting over his calloused fingers. She had her father's calm eyes and a gap-toothed smile that could melt any heart. "Dad," she whispered, "do you think Mom can see us from heaven?" Daniel smiled softly, his voice low. "I think she's flying higher than this plane, sweetheart. And I think she's proud of you." The engines hummed steadily until a sudden jolt made every heart skip a beat. The plane shuddered violently. Gasps filled the cabin as overhead bins rattled. The seatbelt lights flashed. A tense voice came over the intercom, "Captain Reed, steady but strained. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain calm. We're experiencing some unexpected turbulence, and a technical issue with our left engine." Daniel's eyes sharpened. He'd heard that tone before, the calm of someone masking panic. His muscles tightened with instincts he hadn't used in years. He looked around. A young mother prayed into her hands. A businessman clutched the armrests. Emma's lip trembled, and Daniel squeezed her hand. "It's okay, honey. Just like a bumpy bus ride." Moments later, the captain's voice returned, this time tighter, faster. "If there are any experienced pilots or flight crew among the passengers, please identify yourselves immediately." A silence followed. Then whispers. People looked around, no one moved. The flight attendant scanned the rows, her voice shaking. "Anyone. Please, anyone." Row 10. Daniel's eyes flicked shut for half a second. The part of his life he had buried, the man he used to be, stirred. He'd promised himself he'd never return to that world after what happened in Kandahar. The last flight he'd taken wasn't a commercial one, it was an FA-18 mission that went wrong, leaving his wingman dead and his soul grounded. But now, looking at Emma's fearful eyes, he knew this wasn't about his past anymore. It was about saving her future. He stood up slowly, his cap still shadowing his face. "Captain needs a hand," he asked. The flight attendant blinked, startled. "Sir, do you have flight experience?" Daniel's voice was calm, unshaken. "Navy. Carrier pilot. 10 years. Call sign, Eagle 6. The murmurs spread like wildfire through the cabin. The quiet janitor, the one who had helped a flight attendant pick up spilled coffee earlier, was suddenly the calm in chaos. Within minutes, Daniel was led to the cockpit. The captain, pale and sweating, gave him a quick rundown: partial engine failure, unstable autopilot, and dropping altitude. "You can take co-pilot seat," the captain said. "If you're who you say you are." Daniel gave a faint smirk. "Let's bring this bird home, Captain." He strapped in, fingers moving instinctively over the controls. The sound of alarms, the flicker of warning lights, it all came back to him like muscle memory. The co-pilot looked at him, wide-eyed. "Sir, do you know this model?" Daniel nodded. "She's slower than my Hornet, but she'll fly." Outside, the storm was merciless. Lightning flashed. Rain battered the windows. In the cabin, passengers prayed, cried, held hands. Emma clutched her stuffed bear, whispering, "Please, Daddy, come back." Inside the cockpit, Daniel's voice was calm and precise. "Flaps to 15. Reduce thrust. Compensate with rudder trim. Steady, steady." The plane leveled slightly. The captain glanced at him, disbelief in his eyes. "You've done this before." Daniel didn't answer. His focus was absolute. The air traffic controller's voice crackled through. "Flight 247, your descent path is unstable. Confirm assistance." Daniel pressed the comm. "This is Eagle 6, Navy combat pilot. We're bringing her in manual." The tower went silent for a beat. Then, "Roger that, Eagle 6. Welcome back to the sky." For the next 20 minutes, Daniel worked like he'd never left the cockpit. Every maneuver, every correction, it was like reliving a forgotten heartbeat. The plane broke through the storm clouds, revealing a faint glow of city lights below. When the landing gear finally locked, the captain whispered, "You just saved 183 souls." As they touched down, cheers erupted in the cabin. The wheels screeched, the aircraft slowed, and the tension broke like a dam. Daniel leaned back, exhaling deeply for the first time in years. His hands trembled, not from fear, but release. When he walked out of the cockpit, the passengers erupted in applause. Emma ran to him, tears streaming. "Daddy, you did it." She threw her arms around his neck. He held her tight, whispering, "Told you, sweetheart. Just a bumpy ride." The captain followed behind, his voice choked with respect. "Sir, I don't know what your story is, but you just did something extraordinary." Daniel smiled faintly. "I just did what a dad's supposed to do." As they exited the plane, passengers filmed him, some wiping tears, others shouting thank yous. But Daniel didn't care about the attention. All he wanted was Emma's small hand in his. Later, as they waited for a cab in the cool night air, Emma looked up. "Daddy, does that mean you're a hero again?" Daniel looked at the sky, where the storm had cleared, stars glittering above the runway. "No, baby," he said softly. "I never stopped being one. I just forgot for a while." The video fades on that image, a father, a daughter, a man who rose quietly from row 10 to save them all. If you felt his courage, his quiet strength, and that fatherly love that never gives up, don't forget to hit like, share this story, and subscribe for more emotional journeys that remind us. Heroes don't always wear uniforms, sometimes, they wear janitor's clothes and sit quietly until the world needs them again.